It's outside. This is the second time it's been here, or it's another one. Sorry about the noise. Let me turn off the dryer. There it is. Wait, he can see me. We need to stand out of the way to make sure. As long as he knows that I'm not here, he'll stay around longer. Happily munching grass, eating leaves off the tree. You know, I heard that the cows used to be shrub eaters, the wild cows, the yerk. There hasn't been, I think the last wild cow went extinct like, what, 200 years ago? Maybe less, maybe a little bit more. As long as he can't see me, it's fine. The wild one is outside, content to be itself, content and feeling safe for a moment or two to feed themselves. Eat some grass, look around. Is there anybody there? Am I safe? Is it still safe? It's still safe. The deer doesn't know it's being spied upon. The wild thing is out there. Rumpelstiltskin. Exactly. I think it's the little guy eating grass, the wild thing, hanging out with the gazelles. A little bit earlier, there was I think it was a spike, or maybe it was a little forked horn. It's been here a long time. You know, we've been watching it for 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, but it's been here a little bit longer than that. If you like spying on wildlife, wild things, please push the like button. This is low effort content. I was actually going to do some blind drawing. I still might do that, blind drawing. You want to write it, Rumpelstiltskin? Fish scale? What the deer doing? It's eating. It's getting eating grass. Maybe a pear on the ground. Let's go over here. Maybe the glass is not. You can try. You can try to pet it. Windows got all fogged up. Oh, it's leaving. Wait, maybe it'll stay. Maybe it'll stay longer. Well, you know, fish scale, just go pet a goat. The goats won't run away. Well, they might run away. I don't know. I probably should just turn the camera off and go to sleep because I got relatives coming in like 8 hours from now. Oh, there went the light. Let's see if I can get a. Still there. Needs to trigger the outdoor light again. Yeah, don't it? Don't it look spooky? It does look spooky. Well, you know, it can't smell me because the wind is blowing towards me. I got my arm out the window. It's like a ghost or something, an alien out there. One-eyed creature. It's kind of confused. It doesn't know what the hell is going on. It sees this light. Well, it's going back to eat. It's going back to eating. It isn't scared. I think it's got long ears. Austin skilted. Oh, he's going. It's gone. All right, now let's do my regular content. We'll do what I was going to do. Let's turn that light off. Turn my dryer back on. Yeah, bye-bye, dear. Let's try something else here. All right, I know. Okay, I need to turn this light off. There we go. I have some of my art behind me here. Oh. Venison for days. Yeah. You'll turn the light down a bit. There we go. Well, I actually had venison for dinner. Yeah, I had venison for dinner. Actually, it was elk and mac and cheese. But I didn't. I got it from somewhere else. I am not a hunter. That was not something I did. I did kill a deer when I was at like 15. It was pretty traumatic, if I have to tell you the truth. Which is probably why the deers feel comfortable coming into my backyard. I don't know. But you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna try some blind drawing. So this is my bad eye. I can't see very well out of it. I'm just looking into here. I kind of like this. This is fun, actually. Maybe an alien face. Couple little slit here for. I can't really see very well, so it's like I'm looking into the camera face. So we have like an alien face here, and it's got its kind of a uniform, maybe no neck, and let me take a look at it and see what I got. Yeah, it's kind of like an alien face. It's got a flat head. Yeah, it does have a flat head. So we're just going to give it a little bit more head here. Hey, that's kind of cool, actually. I don't, I'm not an expert at drawing or anything. I was like a failed drawing student. I took drawing. I took art in high school and a little bit in college, but when it got to the drawing section, I was not very good at it. But someone suggested blind drawing to me as an exercise. So we're just going to do it here. Just to have fun. It's more important to have fun with it than it is to, be accurate. Kind of got a square face here. Square chin. Damn, it looks like looks like a relative or something of mine. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it certainly does look like one of my relatives. Maybe we'll just kind of shade this in. My relative, the alien side of the family. Huh. This is actually interesting. I wasn't expecting it to turn out to be interesting. I was expecting it to be, like super bad drawing. Hmm. Well, interesting. That's actually really, really fascinating. I mean, because if you look at it that way, we'll just kind of, you get kind of, it kind of forces you to be really loose with the pencil. Hmm. Oh, I like this. What do you think? What do you think of it? If you're there looking in, I wonder if this is this stream even clear? I should just see, turn the TV on, see if I can see it on the TV too. We'll have to make sure that I mute it out. See what happens here. Let's see what other kinds of. Is this like a hat? Maybe it's got a headband here, and it's got the hair coming out and a headband across the forehead. We got hair coming across the eyes too. Kind of a bad hairstyle. Huh. Interesting. What do you guys think? Hmm. Killer of Giants. That was an Ozzy Osbourne song. Hmm. I used to listen to Ozzy Osbourne when I was a teenager. I liked Diary of a Madman, Crazy Train. Let's see, I want to make sure that this is muted. I don't even know if this stream is clear. So I'm going to put YouTube on the TV. See if one of my my streams popping up here. One of my old channels, Random Idiot. No. Let's go to the other one. Sorry that nothing is happening right now. Where's that pencil at? It's actually kind of cool. It's kind of a cartoonish, really cartoonish face. Yeah, let's do another one. I really like this, actually. Maybe I can do some more to it, some more work on it. Hmm. You know what? I need to. I'm not ready to move on. I want to move on. Go on to the next one here, not the next drawing. But let's go. I'm gonna use this gum eraser here to pull out some of the graphite. Maybe we can do some shaping and some color shaping here. So what we're doing here is I'm just kind of dabbing and dabbing it here. And it's sort of picking the graphite up. I want to kind of work on the shirt and the body. I like how lumpy it is. Got like the maybe the clothes are kind of lumpy or something like that. Even though, like I say, I don't really know how to draw. I mean, I'm just sort of trying to teach myself here. This is so fascinating. This is really fascinating. Kind of a little. See, it kind of looked like that. I think it looks a little better. What do you think? I guess I need to sit up straight. When you see yourself on video, I don't actually watch my rewatch my shows very often. I used to when I first started the channel 3 years ago. I rewatched my programs all the time. Then when I first started doing live streams, I rewatched my shows too. But I hardly ever do that anymore. So we use this gum eraser. I use it to lift off the graphite and give them maybe just a little bit more whiteness on the neck. I think it's a he. Kind of feels like a he. It's kind of like an overly emotional character. You can consider this like an ASMR video. So we've taken and lifted off quite a bit of graphite right off around the neck, and we're just sort of giving it a little bit more definition. Kind of like that. I think that looks pretty cool. What do you think? Time to start a new one? Yeah, maybe. It's almost Halloween. Halloween is kind of coming up soon. I think I want to add more darkness to the hair. Kind of a messy. Looks kind of messy here. Hair coming right over the eye. I get a sense that you can see that the eye was under there. Hints of it there. I wonder if this method of drawing is like a good way to, access how you're feeling. Because I've always had difficulty expressing how I felt, or even trying to figure out how I felt at all. I mean, one of my cousins passed away this morning, and he was actually he invented the 911 system, and he sold it to Bell Labs in the 60s, and then worked on it to roll out. So when you dial 911, that was one of my first cousins once removed. I think he passed away today, as in whatever day today was this morning. I'll just mention his name, Steve Swanson, and he was a good man. He benefited from during the Eisenhower administration. Eisenhower, and when during the end there was the Sputnik the Sputnik, the Russians launched a satellite into orbit, and then the United States entered into the space race. And President Eisenhower dumped a shit ton of money into the education system in America. And then that sort of continued with John F. Kennedy, who was the president after Eisenhower. And Eisenhower was a World War II general, General Eisenhower, and then he became a president. Dwight Eisenhower was his name, and what Dwight, and he was a Republican president, and he dumped in a progressive. He was a progressive, not he wasn't a conservative. He was a progressive Republican who he built the President Eisenhower. If you drive on the I-5 system, the I-5 roads, well, the I-5 or the interstate highway system in the United States was built by the Eisenhower administration. But one of the other things that a lot of people don't know about President Eisenhower was that he dumped tons of money into education. And so all across America, schools got funding, and they were looking specifically for people who could do mathematics and engineering and physics and so forth. And then this is how we built the technology to go to the moon, is because a Republican president spent money, taxpayer money, on education. One of the things that they did was the GI Bill. And so if you were in the military and you got out, you could go to college for free on the GI Bill. And that's one of the things. But that fact of just pouring money into education. And then I think that John F. Kennedy poured even more money into education. And that whole infrastructure of the Saturn V rocket, a direct result of pouring money into education all across America, and so that they could build the biggest and the brightest minds. And that's how and so that talent came from here. It came from the United States. It wasn't imported. Well, some of it was imported because Werner von Braun was a German who came to America after World War II, and he was also he was a rocket scientist. I mean, Einstein came. I think Einstein came before World War II. I'm not sure. I don't remember, but anyway, that's just my little rant on education and how the United States, what was this, in the 1950s? So 75 years ago. So that was how old my cousin was. I think he was 75 when he passed away, and so he was a directly benefited from the money that was poured into education. But he was also a genius because he started reading when he was 3 years old. And yeah, he passed away today, or actually it's really like yesterday now. My father was also a brilliant mathematician as well. And Steve Swanson was a Swede. I don't know what his dad was. But how he got the idea for 911 is that his father had a heart attack, and they loaded him up into a station wagon and drove him into a hospital. And they're thinking that they needed to have an emergency service that were with a number that you could easily remember. So in that time, this was like in the 60s. In the 60s, 1960s, you if you wanted to call the police, you had to call the police in your area. You'd have to know what the phone number was. If you wanted the fire department, you had to call the phone number for the fire department. If you wanted an ambulance, you'd have to call for an ambulance and have that other phone number. And so you had to have that whole no. And so that was where, so the idea came was that he needed to have a simple number that everybody could remember, and that's where 911 came from. And so that's a fact that most people don't know, is that my cousin was responsible for bringing that system all across America. And I don't think he ever took any credit for it either. But I'm giving him the credit for it. But you probably don't believe me, but that's all right. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me at all. I'm just some random idiot blathering into a camera at 1 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. I think that's what time it is. 1:58. 1:58. I live in the Oregon coastal mountains, not too far from the ocean. But I started this video out with the deer in the backyard, but I actually was just going to do this. I was just going to do these blind drawings, but I just noticed the deer out the back window, and I wanted to share that with you guys. So let's just try it. And this is my other bad eye, too. Both of my eyes are bad, actually. I just, without glasses, I can't see crap. It's all like, God, I look like my dad when I take off the glasses. Man, my dad's been gone since 2012. He died in a car accident. And one of my best friends has cancer, and he doesn't know if, it's like cancers in his lymph nodes, and he had a kidney removed like 3 weeks ago. He's kind of thinking about that, and I'm going to a funeral the day after tomorrow for a guy, a friend of the family, and who, I think he passed away at 82. He had Parkinson's, but he was wealthy, so he was able to dump tons of money into it. And so if you just were an ordinary Joe, your insurance wouldn't pay for anything. And so, but if you have if you got a lot of money and a lot of cash, you can spend that money, and you can extend out these diseases, and you can and raise the quality of your life much higher. And that dryer buzzer is going off. Keep buzzing and buzzing away. There it was. It was 3333. Bring balance and creativity to your life. Let's just do this other one. Let's do this other eye here. I can see even less with this one. I think I'm just gonna leave that like that. Everything's really blurry here. The hook nose. I kind of like these mouths like that. It's kind of a thing in. Oh, jeez. I just had like Cartman or something like that running through my head. When I'm looking at this point, I'm thinking like the face on Mars. Have you seen the face on Mars pictures? This is what this really looks like. I can barely see it, but it does remind me of like the face on Mars. Maybe the face on Mars looks better. I can't see this at all, but I'm kind of getting a fuzzy image in my head. So we're kind of just going with it. Fuzzy image in the head. It's sort of being like a maybe like one of those, a Tolkien king, or one of those from the past, the lore in the past. I don't know. It's gonna make it really fuzzy out here. Just kind of use my finger and fuzz this out. I feel very proud to have had a cousin who's done a lot of things. Something very important. I hope that my friend makes a good recovery from with the chemo, and that he's going to be getting. Cancer is pretty aggressive, and he's in so much pain. Sometimes, when you just don't know what to say when you're with a person, but sometimes it's best just to hold space with a person, because it's better that you show your love for your friends and your family. And with these times, they're so difficult to know what to do. And it's easy to put your head in the sand and ignore. But, I'm getting kind of preachy. This is what's interesting to me with this is how I can't see anything at all. Really, it's just this little, it's very blurry. It's kind of a shimmering quality. Let's take a look at it. Actually, all right. Well, here, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to, I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to rub the. That sounds bad. You ever see that movie, Down Periscope, with Kelsey Grammer, and the humor in it is so juvenile. And then there's like, oh well, women don't serve on submarines. Well, they do now. They're announcing it to the crew. He says, well, this is our new dive out for Emily, blah blah blah, and now this is going to be really hard on all of us, and you got to handle ourselves professionally. And oh, that's a great film. I love the expression on that face. I kind of like this style of drawing. And I don't know that when you do this blind drawing, this is fun. I just need to smooth out the edges here, and I'm just using my finger, and I'm rubbing on I'm just rubbing it on the page. Rubbing it on the page. I should be sadder, but I just feel kind of, I don't know. I didn't get to call him. I should have. I thought he would be around longer, but then I was like thinking about him yesterday, but he passed on. I didn't call him, and I guess the last time I talked to him, he was pretty well, but he was having his kidneys had shut down, and there was no prospect that he would get better, and so he just opted to go. He had lost his daughter in the 90s from breast cancer. His grandchildren are really bright. They either work for SpaceX or they work for NASA. His grandchildren are rocket scientists. They've recently worked on a project to have a satellite launched up into Danny DeVito. Is that who that looks like? Looks kind of John Martson. Are you like that guy, that one guy, dude? There was that show Jury Duty. There was a Martson, an actor. Well, I look like Danny DeVito. You know, when I was younger, they said that I looked like Christian Slater. Christian Slater from Pump Up the Volume. I love that movie. I like to watch that movie a lot. That's kind of cool. It's kind of look like this, like a real jarhead, GI Joe type of a guy. What do you think? Would you be inclined to use this sort of a drawing method, the blind drawing method, to try that yourself? Well, Danny DeVito. Well, that's because I'm bald, man. Yeah, I've lost my hair. But I didn't know. When I had more hair, I looked like other actors, and someone said I looked like Angel Eyes from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And then the other one that I look like is Ezra Pound. When I had hair, and then when I used to wear a hat, people thought I was a Jew, and like an Orthodox Jew. And so this is really cool. Yeah. A little bit of work on that. Maybe a little bit more work on the eyes, eyebrows, and kind of like that. We can clip this one. Maybe we'll get a short out of it. I don't know. Here we go. That's it. I like this method. Maybe we'll just come in and yeah, it doesn't look good. I was quite amazed. Maybe just a little bit, take out a little bit of this here. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be spending more time on this technique, doing like for abstract drawings. It's not like kind of frames him up. He's got a big beard, a square beard there. Kind of, we'll put a little fuzz above his face here. Take the graphite that's on my fingers, and we'll sort of move it around. Kind of like that. Looks a little bit better. A little bit more definition in the face there. It's got like a big. Oh, I watch a lot of Bob Ross, dude, man. I usually just paint. The last time I took a drawing class, I think it was last time I took a drawing class. I took a drawing class at an art gallery in 2019, and it was like 6 weeks long. And when I got down at the end of it, I thought, if I have to learn how to do this goddamn drawing stuff, I'm just gonna quit painting. If I have to do this drawing stuff to get better at painting, it's like I just really hated it because I just hated it. But when I've been doing this stuff here, uh, this is a whole lot more fun rather than you sit around drawing vases and trying to do draw rocks and stuff and shit like that. That was just fucking boring. Drawing class was boring. There was no wonder why, because I failed it 3 times. I failed drawing twice in high school and once in college. I failed it when it came to the art part, the drawing and I don't know who it was who told. Maybe no one told me to do the blind drawing. I don't know. Draw in a mirror. Anyways, it's getting really late, and it's getting late tonight, and I got company coming over in the morning. They want to, they want to make sure that when we go to the funeral that we're dressed right, not too, so we don't like embarrass anybody in the family that I don't embarrass anybody in the family because I wear a Hawaiian shirt to a funeral of a rich man. Well, I'm gonna wear a goddamn Hawaiian shirt to the funeral of a rich man in pants I used to wear when I was waiting tables in 2019 and 2020. That's what I'm gonna wear to the funeral of a rich man on Saturday. Hawaiian shirt. He loved Hawaii. He lived in Hawaii for the last 10 years of his life. He should appreciate a Hawaiian shirt. I don't need to wear a tie. Oh yeah, I know it's gonna be at this upstanding wealthy club in Northeast Portland, somewhere around Reed College area. Oh, it was the son of my grandparents' best friend. Um, yeah. So it was like a childhood friend of my parents, my mom and my mother's family. That was who passed, and that was the last. He was his mom, his sister passed before him. His dad passed in 1993. My grandmother passed in my so it was like his folks and my mother's folks were best friend. Like it's not you don't have to say that. The guy he lived a full life. He was 82. He had Parkinson disease for like 30 years that he was able to spend thousands and thousands of dollars doing experimental treatments all around the world, like in Mexico and other countries, and whereas the average Joe, you know, you get the Parkinson disease and then you're gone in like whenever, So, but if you have a lot of money, now that guy his parents had a cleaners, a dry cleaning company. I think it was called Master Cleaners. It was in Portland, Oregon, and then he sold it after his dad died, and then. But when he was young, I think in the 70s, I went and he was they were early adopters of computers, and so he was a computer engineer, and though he was not, his parents weren't wealthy, he became wealthy in the 80s. Like a lot of people became wealthy in the 80s due to when Ronald Reagan cut the top tax rate down from like 70% down to like 40 or 50% or something like that. And then this guy with his business the giftedness he had for business. He took the monies that he had and invested those monies, but he was also a computer engineer, and he became he was a multimillionaire, and so these things happen. But a lot of times it does those things, like those lower tax rates do help out a lot when it's on the top end. Down on the bottom end, we're at those tax rates, those lower tax rates don't do shit for us. Well, I mean, I mean, whatever. They just, I haven't really jumped classes. I've jumped down. I jumped down. I haven't jumped up. Anyways, thank you guys. So that was that. This is that guy. And then the one before him that I did was also interesting. This is the other one, and this one was also interesting too. This guy looks like some kind of like an anime character or something like that, but I think this one's cool. So thank you, John. Thank you, Fish Scale. Thank you, Austin Skilted. And thank you, Robert. Thank you, Rumpelstiltskin. And thank you, everybody else who tuned in to a 1 a.m. 999 show live, low effort content. Yeah, have a great night and good morning. And thank you very much. Bye bye.